All right, Tax Revolt 2011 heads on a stick. Of course, one of the prime enemies in any tax revolt is the big public employee union, the elephant in the room. The SEIU in the state of California, they are the largest public employee union with 700,000 members.
Yeah, we're going to be focusing more and more on these union leaders because they really run the government. I mean, it's easy to pick on Jerry Brown or Darrell Steinberg or Assembly Speaker John Perez, but they're only responding to their bosses. It's like picking on middle management. Jerry Brown is a middle manager. Let's introduce you to David Kiefer, Kieffer, the political director of the Service Employees International Union, SEIU. And they have a new plan where they're going to start running TV, radio, and newspaper ads, billboards, flyers, any way you can transmit an ad. And they're going to be transmitting these ads to Republican districts.
So far, they're targeting Sacramento, Fresno, Monterey, Santa Barbara, and Palm Springs. Although I can tell you, one of our listeners forwarded to us one of their flyers, which apparently targets Assemblyman Cameron Smythe. And what's odd about this is just the way, I mean, it's a cartoon flyer. And anybody that would read this and then run to the phone or to the email to take action on it has to be a super moron. But it does say right there on the outside, because our listener sent us to this in some sort of a frantic mode, that Cameron Smythe is going to vote for taxes. That's not what it says. It is actually a flyer trying to pressure Cameron Smythe to vote to raise or extend your taxes. Where are California's next heroes? And it has like cartoon drawings of a bunch of superheroes flying in the air. Who will step up to be a hero for California? Then it says Assemblyman Cameron Smythe can be a hero for our families. Right now, California's in a budget crisis of epic proportions. So far, the legislature has already made huge cuts, and it talks about cuts to schools, eliminating services for seniors and people with disabilities, and the catch-all drastic layoffs and cuts to police, firefighters, and public safety. We're providing no proof, just making that statement.
Well, David Kiefer is behind this campaign, and he's an arrogant, obnoxious liar. This is intended to emotionally manipulate stupid and uninformed people. Now, these tactics occasionally work in politics, which is why they're used over and over again. They know most people don't pay attention. They know most people are easily swayed emotionally. You really, if you're in politics, you don't really have the platform to try to sway people with facts and figures. You don't. How does a union leader who represents 700,000 parasites get the attention of the average working family in California? You don't have a TV show or a radio show. You don't have a newspaper. You don't have a website that it commands any attention. So you have a shot maybe with a mailer or maybe with a billboard or maybe a 30-second radio commercial. You have to be as emotionally manipulative as possible, and you have to lie. You certainly aren't going to tell people that they're among the highest taxed citizens in the country. You're not going to tell them that they're paying the highest income tax, sales tax, and car tax in the nation, are you? No. You're going to make wild claims about police being laid off and firemen being laid off.
Schools being closed.
Schools being closed. David Kiefer, we're going to keep track of him because on May 15th, he was quoted in the Los Angeles Times as saying, and he's saying this to Democratic legislators and the governor. Kiefer said, quote, "Get a deal done," saying that Californians would vote the taxes down anyway.
Oh, that we knew.
And he said, quote, "They don't actually need to be involved in this decision."
Yeah, bypass the voters.
David Kiefer, executive director of the SEIU, says California voters, this is an exact quote, "they don't actually need to be involved in this decision." He thinks that Brown and the Democratic legislators should do whatever bribery they have to commit to get the 4 Republicans to cross over, get the deal done, get another gusher of tax money in.
Now, let's leave out the taxpayers. Let's leave it up to the SEIU, which, of course, contributes all the big bucks to the Democrats and Jerry Brown. Let's make this insular. Only we'll deal with this.
I don't work
Voters, taxpayers, you stay out of this.
I don't work for David Kiefer. I don't know who this a-hole is.
Well, you want their number?
Yeah, I think it's time that we start, instead of calling Brown and the legislator, we start calling these union offices. I don't think they understand what goes on in the real world here. I don't work for the a-hole David Kiefer. I don't work for the 700,000 SEIU parasites, whatever the hell they do. I don't know what they do, and I don't care. I know I'm one of the most highly taxed citizens in the nation, and so are you. Period. End of story. And I don't have to pay any more money. And the budget deficit is down to $6 billion. That's not a lot of money in an $85 billion budget. It's about 7.5%. So go find a way to cut another effing 7.5% out of the budget. And get out of my face and out of my wallet. David Kiefer.
They have a catchy website, which, of course, they're spending their public employee union dues paying members money on. StandUpForCA.org. CA being California. I'm looking at it now. It's a nice website. And they also have a toll-free number. What do you know?
Oh, what's that number, Ken?
It's on the flyer here. 866-864-8567. We'll probably post it up on a website so you can let the SEIU know just how tough it is right now for you to make ends meet, and you're not giving them any more tax money.
What was that number again?
866-864-8567.
I think I heard you say 866-864-8567.
That would be the toll-free number. Or StandUpCA.org, which is nothing but a puppet organization for the public employee union parasites.
All right, so how about you say now it's the John and Ken audience against David Kiefer?
You want me to tweet this?
Yes.
Okay.
Because he's got 700,000 parasites. Well, we've got 1.2 million people who pay the salary of the 700 parasites. The 700,000 parasites. So it's 866-864-8567. That's the union hotline. David Kiefer is the executive director, and he said about you, the California taxpayer, you don't actually need to be involved in this decision.
Yeah, so butt out.
Can you imagine
hear that, KFI listeners, Tax Revolt listeners? Butt out.
You don't actually need to. You're paying the tax money. He doesn't even. Now it's funny, they don't even want a referendum anymore. I say now let's have the referendum. How about that? Now let's have the referendum.
Well, they've seen the polls.
Yeah.
They know even with, how much did you say they might spend?
60, what was it? $60 million. $60 million, yeah.
That might not be enough because people are hurting and they ain't going to vote to raise their taxes.
So we're all getting up in the morning working for David Kiefer, right? And we don't have any say in our tax increases. F and U.
All right.